Everything changed with one quiet sentence. Amber Marshall, the face of Heartland for nearly 2 decades, has finally revealed something fans never expected to hear. It wasn't just another casual interview. Her words were real. Her message was emotional, and her tone warned us season 19 will not be the same Heartland we've known. It's not just a new chapter, it's a whole new path, and for Amy Fleming, it might be her most difficult journey yet. Amber Marshall has always been careful when talking about Heartland. She loves the show, she respects the fans, and she knows how deeply people care about Amy Fleming's story. So when Amber finally sat down for a new interview and spoke about season 19, everyone listened, and this time, her words were different. They weren't just kind or hopeful, they carried weight. She said, "This season is about big change, the kind that tests everything." For fans who have followed Amy since season 1, this statement was both exciting and scary. Heartland has always been about family, healing, and horses. It's a peaceful show, full of emotion and simple values. But now, Amber has hinted that peace might be broken. She didn't give away any big spoilers, but the message was clear. Amy will face something new, and it will not be easy. During the interview, Amber was calm but serious. She explained how season 19 challenged her more than past seasons. "There were scenes," she said, "that I had to stop in the middle because they hit too close to home." Amy's story becomes very real this season. That kind of emotion from Amber made fans nervous. What could be coming that's so personal and powerful? Some believe it's about love. Since Ty's death, fans have wondered if Amy would ever open her heart again. Amber didn't confirm anything, but she did say, Amy is starting to look forward. But looking forward means letting go of something too. That sentence was enough to set the internet on fire. Could Amy finally be ready to move on from Ty's memory? Or is she facing a different kind of goodbye? Others believe the change Amber spoke about might not be love, it could be about Amy stepping away from the ranch. In the same interview, Amber mentioned the idea of new dreams and unexpected roads. That's not language Heartland uses lightly. It's a show rooted in routine, tradition, and home. If Amy chooses to follow a new dream, it may take her away from everything she's known, including Heartland itself. Amber also touched on the cast's reactions. She said there were moments on set where longtime actors cried between scenes. "We've grown up together on this show," she said. "But this season feels like we're growing in a new way. It's emotional, it's raw, and it feels very real." That kind of atmosphere doesn't happen unless the story itself is changing deeply. Fans noticed how careful Amber was with her words. She smiled, but there was sadness in her eyes. She laughed softly, but her voice cracked when speaking about certain scenes. Everything about her body language said, something big is coming, and not everyone will be ready for it. At the end of the interview, she left one final thought. "I want fans to know, we've honored the past, but it's time to find out who we are without it." That sentence hit like a storm. Because Heartland has always been about remembering, about holding on to love and loss. But now, it seems, Amy will be forced to let go. And in doing so, she may become someone entirely new. Amber didn't give spoilers, but she didn't need to. Her words were enough. And for the first time in years, fans aren't just curious, they're worried, excited, and deeply emotional. Because season 19 might not just be the next season of Heartland. It could be the season that redefines the entire show. Asterisk. Amber Marshall didn't say it out loud, but fans could feel it in her words. Something in Amy is shifting. The character we've watched carry everyone else's pain is finally about to face her own. In the past few seasons, we've seen Amy throw herself into work at the ranch, taking care of horses, building a strong life for Lindy, and trying to be strong for everyone. But strength can only carry you so far before it turns into silence. And now, it seems that silence is breaking. In her interview, Amber mentions something simple but strong. Amy is learning that healing doesn't mean standing still. That one line made fans stop and listen, because for so long, Amy has stayed still physically at the ranch, emotionally stuck in grief. But what if healing means more than remembering? What if it means stepping into something new? There's been a lot of talk about whether Amy will fall in love again. For many, the idea is, painful Ty was her soulmate, the love of her life. But even Amber admits that Amy is human. She's not frozen in time. She's a woman who still feels, still dreams. And maybe, just maybe, she's ready to love again, not because she's replacing Ty, but because she's choosing to keep living. Fans are divided. Some say Amy deserves happiness again. Others fear it would dishonor Ty's memory, but Amber gave a clear answer. Ty will always be a part of Amy. Nothing can change that, but Amy is still alive. She has a daughter, a future. She has choices. That idea, me, having choices, is at the heart of season 19, and it's not just about love. It's about identity. It's about asking, who is Amy without Ty? Without the ranch? Without everyone needing her to be strong? There are rumors of a new character entering the story, a quiet man who works with horses and sees Amy for who she really is. Amber didn't confirm this, but she smiled when asked. We'll meet people this season who challenge Amy in ways she's not used to, she said. That smile was enough. The possibility of someone new in Amy's life, someone who understands both her strength and her wounds, has fans both hopeful and nervous. But change doesn't always mean romance. It could also mean Amy stepping away from the ranch to chase something of her own. Amber hinted that Amy might take a risk this season, one that could pull her out of the life she's always known. She's been strong for others. Now it's time to be strong for herself, Amber said. That's not just a character arc, that's a transformation. Whatever happens in season 19, it's clear that Amy is not staying the same. Her story is growing, just like she is. And for fans who've grown with her for nearly 20 years, that growth feels personal. We've cried with her, we've cheered for her, and now, we're holding our breath, waiting to see what choice she makes next. Whether it's a new love, a new dream, or a new path, entirely, Amy's next step could be the one that finally sets her free, and once she takes it, there may be no going back. Asterisk, some of the biggest surprises in season 19 might not come from Amy's journey alone, but from the people around her, those who return and those who don't. While Amber Marshall focused on Amy's personal changes, she also dropped small hints about other characters that caught the attention of longtime fans. Her words weren't direct, but they were enough to spark questions. Who will we see again at Heartland, and who might be gone for good? One of the most talked about characters is Georgie. Fans have waited patiently to know if she will return. Amber didn't say her name outright, but she did mention that fans will be happy to see familiar faces they didn't expect. That comment has led many to believe that Georgie might make a surprise appearance. Georgie's storyline with show jumping and her absence in season 17 and 18 left many viewers feeling her chapter was incomplete. If she comes back, even for 1 or 2 episodes, it could give Amy the emotional push she needs to take her own next step. Another mystery surrounds Peter. In recent seasons, Peter has been a steady presence in Lou's life again. Their growing closeness sparked talk of reconciliation. Amber touched lightly on Lou's role this season, saying, relationships will face big questions. While it wasn't a direct answer, fans believe Lou and Peter might face a choice that decides their future. Will they finally get remarried? Or will they realize they've grown too far apart? Tim is another important piece of the Heartland puzzle. His character has always brought a mix of energy, drama, and strong opinions. Amber said something interesting about him in the interview. There are characters who will face personal crossroads this season. Some might choose peace. Others might choose distance. That made fans wonder, will Tim take a step back from the ranch? Is he thinking about retiring or moving on to something else? Nothing is confirmed. But the way Amber phrased it made fans worry that not all familiar faces will be in every episode, and then there's the possibility of new faces joining the cast. Amber smiled when asked about newcomers. She said, Heartland has always been about family, but families grow. This season, we'll meet people who bring change. That single sentence has started countless online theories. Are we about to see a new ranch hand? A romantic interest? A lost friend from the past? New characters often shift the balance of the show, and if Amber's words are right, these additions could stir up emotions, conflict, and growth for those already at Heartland. One name that fans continue to whisper about is Mallory. Her return in past seasons was brief but powerful. While Amber didn't say anything specific about her, she did speak about bringing the past into the present. That may be a hint that someone like Mallory or even another face from the early years could pop up. These kinds of guest appearances often help tie storylines together, especially when the show is going through a big emotional shift. Overall, Amber's careful way of talking about the cast says a lot. She didn't reveal too much, but every time she spoke about surprises, changes, or people you've missed, it sounded like more than just words. It sounded like more than just words. It sounded like a quiet promise. Season 19 won't just be about Amy changing. It will be about the entire family, the people who've stood beside her, and how they handle what's coming next. The cast is the heart of the show, and this season, that heart may beat in a new rhythm. Whether someone leaves, returns, or arrives for the first time, everything will be felt. Every face that walks into Heartland this season will mean something. And the ones who don't return may be remembered even more. Asterisk, while Amber Marshall's words during the interview were careful and thoughtful, there was something deeper going on, something that wasn't said, but definitely felt. Viewers who have followed her for years could sense the difference in her tone, her pauses, even the way she looked down when talking about the future of Heartland. Sometimes, silence speaks louder than words, and in this case, Amber's silence held more than one secret. She talked a lot about change, growth, and emotional moments, but the way she said those things made it clear. Season 19 wasn't easy to film. Not just because of tough scenes, but because of what they meant for the cast and story. She said, "This season got under our skin in ways we didn't expect. It wasn't just acting anymore, it felt personal." Fans noticed how she took longer to answer questions, choosing her words like she was protecting something. There were moments when she spoke about the cast, but she didn't name everyone. Instead, she said things like, "Some people had a hard time saying goodbye. And we had moments that felt like real endings." That's not the kind of thing you say unless something serious is happening behind the scenes. Maybe a cast member decided to leave. Maybe someone's story is coming to a close. Or maybe, just maybe, the show itself is preparing for its final ride. Even when Amber smiled, there was a trace of sadness. She mentioned how some scenes had a different feeling this time. "It wasn't just performance," she said. "It felt like we were saying something real, something final, that made fans feel uneasy. Could this be the last season? Or is it just the end of a big chapter?" She didn't say yes, but she didn't say no either. Another thing people noticed was how often Amber referred to legacy and honoring the journey. Those words don't come up unless there's a deep reason behind them. Amber has always spoken with love about Heartland, but now, there was something more. A kind of reflection. A quiet goodbye hidden inside hopeful sentences. She wasn't just promoting the next season. She was preparing the audience for a different feeling. Even her body language gave away more than her answers. She leaned forward, like she was trying to connect more deeply with the interviewer. Her hand stayed still in her lap, something fans say she only does when she's feeling emotional. In past interviews, Amber had always been relaxed, confident, but here, she seemed aware of how much this season would change things for Amy. For the show, and for the people watching at home, there was also a moment when she was asked about the future of the show. She paused, then said, "We're proud of what we've made. No matter what happens next, it's been a gift." That pause said everything. It didn't confirm the end, but it didn't deny it. And for many fans, it was the first time they truly started to worry. So much of what Amber said felt like a goodbye without using the word goodbye. Maybe season 19 isn't the final season, but it might be the season where things shift in a big way. Where Amy becomes someone new. Where old stories are closed and new ones begin. Not just for the characters but for the actors to dot in the end. What Amber didn't say may matter even more than what she did. Because in her silence, in her careful answers, and in her quiet emotion, fans saw the truth. Something big is changing behind the scenes. And whether we're ready or not, season 19 will leave its mark. On the story, on the cast, and on everyone who's loved Heartland from the beginning. Asterisk, some stories feel like they could go on forever. Heartland has been one of those stories. For nearly 2 decades, it has followed the lives of people who feel more like family than fictional characters. But now, for the first time, there's a quiet question hanging in the air. Is season 19 the beginning of something new, or the end of everything we know? Amber Marshall didn't say this was the final season, but the way she spoke about it made fans wonder if she knew something they didn't. She used words like legacy, closure, and the journey so far. These aren't phrases actors usually use when a show is just getting started again. They're the kind of words people say when they've reached an important turning point, when something is coming full circle. During her interview, Amber said, "We've poured so much into this season. If this were the last, I think fans would feel proud." That sentence stayed with fans long after the interview ended. She didn't say season 19 is the last, but she made it sound like it could be. And if it is, it won't go out quietly. It will go out with meaning, emotion, and respect for everything that's come before. Behind the scenes, there are whispers. Crew members have posted less than usual. Some longtime writers have quietly moved on to other projects. Even the cast seems more reflective in their public posts. There's a different kind of energy surrounding this season. One that feels a little more serious, a little more personal, and maybe even a little like a goodbye. Still, there's hope. Heartland has always been good at surprising its fans. In past years, there were moments when it seemed the show might wrap up, only to return stronger than ever. The love from fans around the world is one of the reasons the show has lasted this long. That kind of devotion isn't easy to ignore. If the audience keeps showing up, maybe the story will. Amber also said something else that gave fans a reason to hope. Even when one chapter closes, another can begin. Heartland is bigger than any one season. That line made some fans believe that even if Amy's story reaches a stopping point, the show could continue in a different form, maybe focusing more on Lindy, maybe on a new generation, or maybe with Amy guiding others, instead of always being at the center. There's also the question of how the season ends. Will it feel like a final goodbye, with closure and peace? Or will it end with questions, hints of what's next, and space for one more season? Amber didn't reveal that. She simply said, "We left it open, but with meaning." That could mean anything. And that's exactly what's keeping fans on edge. The truth is, no one outside the cast and crew really knows the answer yet, but what's clear is that season 19 carries the weight of something important. Whether it's a goodbye or a new beginning, it matters. It holds the emotions of the past 18 seasons, the dreams of the characters, and the love of millions of viewers around the world, and maybe that's what makes this season different. Not just because of what happens, but because of what it represents. The end of something, the start of something else, or maybe both at the same time. Whatever the case, fans will be watching closely, because if this is the final ride, they won't want to miss a second of it. The moment Amber's words were shared, the Heartland fandom felt a sudden wave of emotion. It wasn't just excitement for the new season, it was something deeper, something heavier. Fans from across the world started posting their thoughts, and it quickly became clear, no one was feeling just one thing. There was joy, sadness, hope, and fear all at once, and no matter where they were, fans understood the weight of what might be coming. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "If this is really the end, I'm not ready. But if Amy finds peace, I'll be proud of her." Another said, "I've grown up with this show. It's like losing part of myself." Many talked about how Heartland has helped them through hard times in real-life grief, loneliness, anxiety. The show wasn't just a story, it was a safe place, a place where pain was healed through love and horses. Now, the thought of that place changing or going away is almost too much for some to bear. But there were also fans who felt something else, some even felt excitement. They spoke about Amy's growth, about how she deserves to move forward. "I don't want the show to end," one viewer posted, "but if it has to, let it end with strength and grace. Let Amy ride into something new." These fans are ready to see characters evolve, even if it means saying goodbye to the comfort of the past. Reddit threads lit up with long discussions. Some shared theories about surprise endings. Others compared season 19's energy to earlier emotional seasons, especially when Ty left. People looked at behind-the-scenes photos for clues. Even the smallest details, like Amber's choice of words or the tone in her voice, became topics for debate. It's not just a show anymore. It's something personal. International fans also made their voices heard. From Canada to Europe to South America, people talked about what Heartland meant to them. Some had watched the show with their parents. Others discovered it during lonely years of lockdown. For many, it was their first connection to peaceful storytelling, a world where kindness still mattered. And now, the idea that it might be changing has left a deep emotional mark. The most emotional reactions came from fans who've been there since the very beginning. They remember season 1. They remember Ty's early struggles, Mallory's jokes, Jack's wisdom. For them, season 19 isn't just another part of the journey. It's the reflection of years spent growing alongside the show. Their messages were full of love, and also full of tears. "It's more than a series," one fan wrote. "It's my memory book." Even newer fans are speaking up. They discovered Heartland just recently, and yet, they feel the same pull. One person wrote, "I didn't expect this show to change me, but it did. I feel like I'm part of something now. And I don't want it to end," whether they've watched for 2 months or 2 decades. The emotional bond is real. What stands out most in all these reactions is how deeply Heartland has touched people. It's not about plot twists or big drama. It's about quiet moments, real feelings, and the beauty of life through struggle. That's why Amber's words hit so hard. Because fans know that kind of storytelling doesn't come around often. And if it ends, it leaves a space nothing else can quite fill. The world is full of fast-paced shows and loud stories. But Heartland gave people something different. It gave them time to breathe, time to feel. And as season 19 approaches, fans are holding on to every clue, every word, every moment, hoping to be ready. But knowing they probably never truly will be. The countdown has already begun. Even before a trailer drops or an air date is locked in, fans are holding their breath for what season 19 will bring. Not because they're expecting something wild or dramatic, but because they know it's going to matter. After everything Amber Marshall has hinted, this season won't just pick up where season 18 left off. It will lead somewhere personal, powerful, and possibly final. No official plot summary has been released yet, but pieces of the puzzle are slowly falling into place. Amber's comments about healing, change, and choices have built a quiet storm of theories. Some believe Amy will take her first real step toward a new life, maybe a move, maybe a relationship, or maybe something no one expects. Others think Lindy might take more of the spotlight as the next generation begins to grow. And some fans fear the ranch itself could change hands, symbolizing the end of an era. Filming wrapped months ago, but cast members haven't shared much. That silence says a lot. In the past, behind-the-scenes photos filled fans with excitement. This time, the stillness feels different, like the team is guarding something meaningful, waiting for the right moment to reveal it. That kind of care doesn't happen with just any season. It happens when the story carries more weight than usual. What we do know is this: Heartland season 19 is coming. And when it does, it will arrive with all the love, memory, and legacy that nearly 2 decades have built. Whether it's Amy's final ride or the beginning of a new chapter, this season promises to give fans something to remember. It won't be about action or surprise. It will be about emotion. About family. About saying something honest even if it's hard. The release window is expected for late 2025. If patterns follow, new episodes could start in the fall. But no matter the date, one thing is already clear: this will be the most emotional season in the show's history. And the fan base is ready to feel everything. Some will cry, some will cheer, and some might not know how to say goodbye if that's what's coming. But that's the beauty of Heartland. It was never about flashy endings. It was always about quiet strength, about growing through pain, loving through loss, and finding peace in unexpected places. As the final preparations for season 19 are made, fans are holding on tightly, watching old episodes again, sharing memories online, waiting for a trailer, a poster, a first glimpse. Because once that first scene plays, whether it's Amy walking across the ranch or Lindy riding her horse in the morning sun, hearts will be full, eyes will be wide, and nothing will be the same again. And maybe that's what Amber Marshall was really trying to say. That sometimes, even after all these years, a story can still surprise you, still move you, and still find a way to remind you why you fell in love with it in the first place. To stay updated with every reveal, trailer, and emotional moment leading up to the premiere. Don't forget to subscribe to Nextdoor.